Hello and welcome to HMG's Global Leadership Spotlight. I'm Hunter Muller, founder and CEO of HMG Strategy. Excited and delighted to be here with you today. And we have an amazing global leader in Dax Grant. She is a former global CIO at HSBC and executive at Visa. Dax, welcome to today's program, and always great to see you.
Likewise, Hunter. I'm looking forward to the conversation today.
Hey, we've been studying global issues, global trends here at HMG Strategy from the very beginning. I've always known to be truly a world-class executive, you really need a global point of view. Why does a global perspective matter more than ever now in the most highly innovative, disruptive times that we've ever seen in modern day enterprise?
Oh, it's a superb question, Hunter. I mean, today's world is so connected, and there's news every day. There's technology connectivity. We're all able to speak to each other pretty much at any time, night or day, and so all of these things that were years ago, local conversations, are actually coming to the fore and coming to the fore globally. And equally, with all the ESG agenda in the boardroom. That side of things, there's so many things that if we as a society work together and as global leaders take our societal positions, there's so many places where we can add particular value to both our planet and our society, as well as the bottom line, the organisations that we run and look after. So there's a real opportunity with it, but also there's a vortex of global trends that sit underneath it as well.
I love the global perspective. Hey, Dax, you have some news, a new book coming out, The Entrepreneurial Quotient. What's it all about and why does it matter?
Yes, I do have a new book coming out, so it's very exciting. It's really about looking at the mix of societal leadership and entrepreneurial skill. And underneath that, really, how do we humanise businesses? And it's a book designed for the leadership of tomorrow. So really, the tenet is yesterday's leadership may have been great, but in today's world, we class that as good now. And we're looking for a whole new set of leadership skills and collaboration and entrepreneurial know-how in order to pull all of these things together and really step into that societal role, as well as upholding our commercial and local roles as well. So there's a real sweet spot now in terms of that whole conversation. And, the other part of it is it links into some of the things that I know you've got a great relationship with Mr. Covey and the books around trust and the speed of trust. It talks about trust in terms of how do you tap into that as a leader, but also how do you shift that from building your community to building a deep community. So some really, really interesting things around that. And also, Marshall Goldsmith's talking about the earned life. We're talking about what's a significant life and how do you really make your life meaningful in terms of where you are as a societal and global leader.
Well, it's really different times, right? In a work from anywhere environment, as a global leader, you do need a global brand. There's one thing Stephen talks about, Covey talks about leadership, but the other thing is followership and getting people to follow you in this very challenging economic, very challenging rolling crises that's impacting our global economies, as well as just simply a tight labor market, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we touch on this in a number of the areas. It's really around during that COVID period, a lot of people have had a chance to rebase and really relook at, what meaningful leadership is and who would you follow and why. And so, whilst a package and, that base remuneration is important, even more as a point of differentiation, it's about what's the purpose of the organisation, how does that integrity of leadership work, and really, how does that authenticity of the organisation resonate with, individuals' personal visions and where their values sit? And it's really about the opportunity to connect within all of those and create that as a new point of differentiation in the marketplace now.
Well, you also talk in the book about the earned life versus the significant life. Can you please elaborate on what it means?
Yeah, I mean, Marshall Goldsmith, his book talks very much about the earned life and where you come from and the principles that sit around that. The significant life is one of the chapters in the book, actually, and really that's unpacking about your leadership destinations at different stages in your life. So what is significant to you in terms of your personal journey, but also marrying that up with what does society need, what do organisations need, what do your local communities need, and where do you want to have impact and meaning and value. And so what may be a significant life for me may not be a significant life for someone else. It's a very, very personal journey, but coupling that up with the understanding of deep community, building trust, and taking that global perspective in terms of where you make that impact and proactively make that impact, that's really pre-designing where you really want your leadership to go next. So there's some deep internal work around that, but also it can be very, very clear then once you step into the next stage in terms of creating that impact and being very, very clear as to where that impact is felt and how.
So really, this has tremendous implications for companies that are mid, small, and large cap. What is it? What are the implications for the C-suite leader in the C-suite in a mid to large cap company?
Well, I mean, it's a whole net new norm, really. For some, this may be a small realization. For others, they will have been listening to all of those industry and technology and global trends and sort of well aware of that. But really, this is the new competitive advantage, and therefore, to be able to step into that space, to be able to explore and unpack that leadership is really, really important to stay current in the marketplace and also to be leading in the boardrooms of tomorrow. So we all know about organisations that do well. We also know about organisations that leapfrog, and it's really those thought-out leaders that stand out in that marketplace and make that difference in terms of their particular organisations. But they stand out in a very, very different way in terms of the legacy they leave to society and the world as well.
Dax, thank you for that answer. You've had an amazing background. You're now a CEO of your own consultancy, your own advisory group. You've been a COO, a CIO, a Global 100 from CIO Magazine in Europe, right? What other ideas do you want to share with the audience today?
Well, I've had lots of different experiences, and I am deeply grateful for all of the different experiences. I'm someone that loves sitting in different seats, so whether it's the CEO's seat, whether it's the CIO or COO seat, all of those different things teach you something about what's important in terms of that particular position and role. And having worked in the small venture type organisations as well as the large global multinationals, really give you that deep perspective. And unfortunately for me, I walked into being a chartered banker, so taking that technology perspective, adding that commercial banking perspective as well, gives a whole new dimension to some of these leadership concepts and how they're really brought out into the world next. So for me, it's quite an exciting personal journey next, and it's about consolidating a lot of those experiences of the past into the next new norm. Some of that is from a societal leadership perspective, both globally and locally. A lot of that is also from a philanthropy perspective in terms of supporting social mobility and some of the other causes as well that I support. So there's a real balance and refinement in the next stage.
Great stuff. And do you have some board work in the future that you're currently in the process of getting on boards?
So in terms of boards, I work very closely with a number of boards, and I sit on various boards both as a chair and as a non-executive director, as well as from an executive position. So I tend to reevaluate that portfolio at different stages, but I found actually sitting on different boards at different times really just give you a perspective, and actually the learnings from sitting in different organisations at different times give you a real perspective in terms of those global trends and what's happening in the marketplace, as well as the learnings between different shapes and sizes of companies and different industries as well. So the opportunity to mix some of these experiences now is quite exponential.
Dax, great to see you, great to be with you. Thank you so much for being such a great supporter on a global level. I see you have HMG on your LinkedIn. Again, thank you very much. Great stuff, brilliant insights.
Thanks, Hunter.
Cheers. Great. All right, we'll do one last thing. Ready? I'm just going to say, I'm going to introduce you, Dax, and then I'll say something nice, or if you can, a testimonial about why you're engaged with HMG Strategy and what you get out of it.
Okay.
Is that cool? Good?
Good.
All right. Here with Dax Grant, CEO of our own consulting and advisory group, former COO, CIO Global 100 finalist for the CIO.com and board advisor, and sits on boards. Dax, great to have you here today. Hey, what do you get out of the HMG experience, both on a UK level, global level, and the States?
A really good question, Hunter. I'm delighted to be here, and I get so much from the HMG partnership. From a global perspective, HMG is a fantastic platform and community. It's fantastic both in terms of diversity, but also the industry thought leadership as well is very, very strong. So I very much enjoy that side of things, particularly the HMG team centrally is fantastic to work with as well. And you know, I always walk away from every session with new insights and learnings, and that's what I think these things should be about. So thank you very much for having me.
Great stuff. Thank you, Dax. Okay.
All right.
Love it.
Two things. We talked about before you came in.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention it to you, but we're going to be posting this video after the book comes out.
Okay.
So question 2 was, your book's coming out, but could you restate the question? Oh, your book has come out, or your book is available now. Can you tell us what it's about?
Okay. Oh, because we're going to launch this after the book comes out?
Yeah.
When's the book come out? September?
Yeah, September 18th.
Oh, nice. 2 weeks or so. Okay.
So just sign up the question. Your book has come out. Can you tell us what it's about?
Okay. Yeah. Great. Great. Okay. So which camera? This camera?
I'll look at camera 2.
Great. So Dax, your book has just come out. Really exciting news. Tell us what. Sorry. So Dax, your book. No. So Dax, you have some exciting news. Your new book's out. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, really excited, Hunter. It's called The Entrepreneurial Quotient, with the little logo E squared. And what it's about is bringing together societal leadership with entrepreneurial skill, and really underneath that, unpacking how do we humanize business, make it more personal, how do we build that trust and deep community, and really look after the tribes that support our businesses. So a lot of themes that are bubbling up, and yes, an exciting time now the book is launched.
Great stuff. All right.
One more, and just closing.
Yep.
You were looking at camera 2. Look at camera 1, the white.
Over here? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to say in closing?
Just thanks for coming on to the program. Your book's available. Your book is now available.
Yep.
Where books are sold.
Okay, great. Okay, so hey, wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So Dax, thank you so much for coming on HMG's Global Leadership Spotlight. Your book is available everywhere. Buy it in quantity and give it to everyone during the holidays. That's a pure recommendation.